Hello, friends. Back again for a next episode of the Next Sunday podcast. Jim Sheppard from Generis here with my co-host, the one and only Frank Bealer.
Heyo.
How are you today, sir?
Good to see you, sir.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
It's a good day?
Yeah, it's a good day to be with you.
Oh, it's always a good day to be in this room doing a
this
podcast.
is it. We get to hang out.
Sling a little content out here.
Yeah, that's it.
So what we've got today, I think this is pretty cool because we did transition here at Generis from my role as CEO to you February of last year. Mm-hmm. And so we're about, 15 months into that?
Yeah.
We're about 1 year away since we did the episode on it. So it was fresh then.
Yeah.
Thought it might be good to say, hey, what does transition look like at Generis 1 year later?
That's great.
Well, I guess one thing we can say is we're still here.
Yeah.
That's the good part of it.
Shocker. Breaking news.
And we're still having fun.
We still like each other.
Fun.
That's exactly right.
But, I think part of the reason why we thought this might be good to talk about, Frank, is you and I both have had so many conversations in the last year about, hey, tell me what's going on at Generis, these kinds of things. And when we tell them the story of succession and how smoothly it's gone for us.
Yeah.
The reaction is, and it's unfortunate because in our space, the faith-based sector, particularly churches, good succession stories are way too few. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That is so unfortunate. So we're not saying this to brag by any stretch of the imagination. We want this, number one, to be an encouragement that it could go well for you. It could actually even go extremely well.
Yeah.
And maybe just to unpack some of what has gone on behind the scenes with you and with me and with us to help others say, well, gosh, that might be the nugget that could unlock it for us.
Yeah. I think Jim, it's great. And I do have people ask questions all the time. The number one, and we'll get there, I'm sure, at some point today is like, wait, you guys still work together? Like how does that work? And it's been amazing. So we can get there. I would start by saying, I can't remember if I said this a year ago. I don't know if I had quite figured it out yet, but I'll double down if I said it a year ago. And if not, for the first time, you did the heart work. And the closer and longer we've been doing this, I realized that that's the hard work. The hard work was the heart work. And while I think I needed to come in with the right posture, of course, at the end of the day, you had to do the identity work and the heart work and figure out if you were really ready for this transition and this timing and how the Lord was guiding you. And so seeing you do that has caused me to do early heart work, not on succession, but just on intentionality and how I manage life and professionally. I've even got professional help and a psychologist to help me just get better. Not because we're struggling, not because there's a problem, but I saw you do the heart work so well. It's given me something to aspire to improve. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that heart work that you had to do. And I know we talked a year ago about you looking at the business card, having to have an honest conversation about that. But talk a little bit about that heart work you had to do.
Yeah, I think the way that I see it even more and more clearly, Frank, is in a relay race that there's two parts to it. There is the baton release, and then there's the baton embrace. So it has to be released from the one runner and then embraced by the next one. And both are important.
Yeah.
Both are important. And it's only after you, as the one who's handing off the baton, have gone deep inside and said, what are the things that live inside of me that can get in the way of this going well?
Yeah.
What are the things that live inside of me that could get in the way of this going well? And I think we said it on the original podcast. I identified 7, but only 2 were deal breakers. I knew there were 2 of them that could wreck everything. And if I didn't deal with those, then it wasn't fair for me to hand it off to anybody, much less you. I mean, you were the obvious person at the time. It wasn't fair to the organization. Ultimately, it wouldn't be fair to me, even to my own self. And those 2 things were identity and control. And identity is where I just, some days I had my business card out and I was just looking at it and talking to the Lord and saying, That's not who I am, is it? That's just what I do.
Yeah.
But I'd been doing it for 28 and a half years.
Wow.
I'd been running Generis 28 and a half years. I mean, I don't care how much you try not to, that becomes ingrained in you at some point in time.
Absolutely.
And you're now letting go of that, and not only that, for the first time, letting go of that title to someone who doesn't own an equity interest, is not one of the two business partners.
Right.
It's always been one of the two business partners. Right. Well, now I own the whole thing as of 2022, because Nancy and I, we've told that story somewhere else, that when our last business partner, Brad Leeper, was ready to exit and was make his transition as a partner and just stay on as a consultant for a while, we decided that was the season for us to own the whole thing so that we can speak into the future of Generis. So the next CEO becomes the next step in that whole progression.
Yeah.
Because if you want it to be better and greater after you're done, then a big part of that is picking the right leader.
Yeah.
Is having the right leader, come on. And so, as the one who's going to be handing the baton off, I've got to make sure that I'm not holding on to it. Because here's what happens. If I'm holding on to it, let's go back to the running analogy. You're still running beside me trying to hey, bud, hey, I need you to let go of this because I can't run fast as long as you're holding on to this.
Yeah.
I can't do what I'm supposed to do as long as you're holding on to this. And that's true in leadership succession as well. And then the control thing, and at some point, I said to myself, well, I'm not really letting go of control because I still own 100%. And that was the day I was like, that was the dumbest thing you could have said, Jim.
Wow.
That is the dumbest thing you could have said to yourself. Because that is, while that's true, that would be unhealthy.
Yeah.
If you're going to just walk around and say, hey, I may not be the CEO, but I'm still the owner, and you're going to throw that card down everywhere, that's not going to work.
Right.
And you've got to be willing to let go of that. And, those two things, I didn't do it perfectly, but I did it well enough that it's worked pretty well for the two of us.
Yeah. From my experience, you've done it really well.
And it doesn't hurt to have somebody who takes the baton and runs with it as well as you do, which is, a big part of it. It's not hard to let go when you see somebody and you're clear. And that's where it went back to, Frank. You and I didn't know this, that when I asked you in February of 2022, knowing that I would be buying Brad out and that I would become the sole owner of Generis on June 1st of that year, knowing that I needed somebody to sit in the room with me and to listen to me and give me a place to process the things that I needed to process. What you and I didn't know was that was the start of a relationship built on trust and respect and vulnerability and honesty and life sharing and all the other things that happened in that room.
Yeah.
We were storing away, and you and I didn't know this.
No clue.
We were storing away relational capital for when that moment came. And then all of a sudden it revealed itself.
Yeah.
Well, we already had all that on deposit.
Yeah.
And for many people who are doing succession, they don't have that, especially if you're bringing someone in from the outside. Now, obviously, if you're promoting someone who is an insider, there becomes a bigger opportunity to do that kind of thing. And lots of churches have that.
Yeah.
You and I have seen some of them. They've done it exceptionally well. Some of them, they haven't done it well. But it's building that respect and that trust so that when the day comes, a lot of it's already been dealt with.
Yeah,
right.
That's so good, Jim.
Yeah, so that was a big part of all that.
When it first came out, or when we were starting to process with a little bit bigger circle of people that we were going to be making this announcement, what were some of the questions you were receiving by those that trusted and loved you most? That maybe they didn't know me, didn't know us in this transition, and they're kind of picking up the story pieces, but they're hearing about this. What questions were they asking you?
So it wasn't exactly the same question in words, but it was the same question.
Okay.
I think the top one was, well, what are you going to do now? I was like, are you jumping off? Are you getting out of here? And what I had to say, and you heard me say this, I said this in the transition last year. When this phrase occurred to me, I knew it was something that would help a lot of people to grasp what I was trying to do. I said this, I'm not doing this so I can leave quicker. I'm doing it so I can stay longer.
Yeah, that was powerful.
I can stay longer.
Yeah.
I can't keep, I'm in my early 70s. I don't feel like I've lost my fastball per se, but I've been carrying the weight of this company for a long time, the running of it. I've had great business partners. Don Lynn Scott was great. Alan was great. Brad was great. They were all in different ways. There were different seasons. And you've heard me talk about that. It was like, I can see that the Linscott season was this, and the Walworth season was this, and the Leaper season was this. And then the season where I just took it and ran. All of those were separate seasons. But all of that was working together for me to begin to let go and make room, because now, without the weight of the company on my shoulder, I can stay longer.
Yeah.
And, I'm not a workaholic, but I don't have an end date. I wouldn't be good. I need to wake up and have something meaningful to go to.
Yeah.
And this is, apart from, my relationship with God and my relationship with my family, this is the most meaningful thing I have.
Yeah.
And so to be able to do that was big. But that was really the question, was like, hey, you're not going away. No. And so for them, it was like, oh, wow, we get the best of both worlds. We get our leader for the future. So that's been clarified. And we get, you're going to stick around. I'm just be the grumpy old guy in the corner at some point in time. But, I moved to a position called chairman. I'm not leaving the firm. I still have some other things that I do. But Frank is going to run the company with Brandon and Leanne.
Yeah. It was a valuable moment pretty early on where you solidified the words you had said with actions when you came into our home office team meeting and you said, hey, I need to bring some clarity into this meeting. You actually reached out to me and said, hey, can I come talk to the team for a minute? Because you were getting CC'd on random emails of different stuff. And you said, hey, let me be clear. We are not transitioning. We have transitioned. And it was a powerful moment. Like, it was like, okay, got it. Yes, understood. Like, if there was any confusion, that eliminated any remnants of people trying to play chess. There was what you said, and they were like trying to scheme around that or kind of figure it out. And you're like, no. There's none of that. Like, this is how it's going to work. So
if you're sending an email to Frank, you do not need to CC me, so I know about it.
Right.
If Frank feels like I need to know about it, he'll tell me.
That's right.
And if he doesn't,
then
it wasn't worth me seeing in the first place.
Yeah. And that was invaluable. That really helped set me up for success. It was really cool. Early on, we were in the process of renovating our offices and renewing our lease. And you're like, well, let me know what we end up doing there. And you just kind of made room for us to kind of make it our space and make it home and not have a million opinions. And it could have been easy for you to be like, hey, well, I like this paint color, or I want this, or I want that, or no questions on any of that, which was just really helpful.
It's going to be your workspace. It's going to be your workspace. And I trust you guys enough that whatever you come up with, even if it might be different than what I would have done, I'm going to love it. And I do. And this is probably what I would have done if I'd been sitting in the meetings.
Yeah, that's great.
It turned out great.
So let's talk about that. You just casually referenced that. Talk about sitting in the meetings, because there are days where you show up to the office and we're having meetings and you're not in those meetings. And then there are days where sometimes we need you in those meetings and we ask you to be in those meetings. What's that been like on some of those days when like the exec team's meeting about something or whatever, and you're like, could have been CC'd. I appreciated it. Where's your mind go?
Yes. So, Frank, we all have points of insecurity in our lives. For some of us, it's bigger than others. I don't have a lot of them. They're relatively small for me. I generally know where they come from. There's 2 or 3 trigger points they'll come from me. And the first couple of times that I saw that happening, they were sort of like, am I supposed to be in that meeting? And then just the clarification came, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not. That's why you did this, so you don't have to sit in there. And Jim, if you sit in there, just your shadow in the room implies that you may not trust everybody to do what you've said you've trusted them to do. So why don't you go down to your office and do some of the things that you need to take care of and not worry about that and feel really good. Because, hey, by the way, this is the moment you and Nancy have prayed for many, many years, that you would have a faithful leader and leadership team with integrity and a leader who understands what you would do with this company if you had another 20 to 25 years to run it, and who's faithfully committed to making sure that happens. And so it wasn't that there wasn't a little struggle, but that victory moment, and now when I see y'all going, it's like, have at it.
Good luck. Have at it.
If you need me, I'm here. But if you don't, that was a good thing too.
It's a powerful statement for you just to remind people, hey, this is what you were praying for. When you see this start to happen, to remind yourself, hey, this is that meeting happening is an answer to prayer. And I think oftentimes that can get lost in transition because the results of that meeting may not be exactly what you would do or the process you would do.
Oh.
But at the end of the day, it's been good. Hopefully it's been great. It certainly has been for me. But it's been cool to watch you process that and back it up with your actions and words in a way that I think some people would like to think they're doing, but there are moments where they don't recognize their shadow in the room. They don't recognize. They pop in. They may not even be meaning to do it, but it can kind of derail things. And you've been so open-handed and willing to go, no, this is our path forward. Let's work through it together. And you remind me often, hey, I'm here. I'm here. If you need anything, holler. Let me know.
I take a load off of you. I'm here. But if you don't need me, I'm fine.
Yep.
But I'm here. So don't struggle with it and say can't figure it out.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So what's it been like from your perspective? I mean, as you've kind of thought through this and you've relating to the team and kind of getting adjusted to your role and things.
I think it's been fantastic. I mean, I've alluded to that so many times. I have days where I'm like, I can't believe I get to do this. That's more days than not. I am like super grateful for the work and the support of the consultants and the team. And I can't imagine doing anything else now. And you know me, I was always doing like 5 things. And so I was always doing like lots of things.
Right,
and now I genuinely can't imagine a path forward where, I mean, God's going to have to like I don't have to be riding a donkey and it's got to be turning the other direction.
I just read that story the other day.
Yeah, that's Bible reading plan.
It's a great story.
Or a burning bush or something like that. It's got to be something pretty crazy to redirect me from the path of what God allows me to do. And so I love the work. I think you and I get along so well behind closed doors, choosing to hang out and spend time together, choosing to even we're going to a conference tomorrow. We chose to take the same flight so we can then ride over to the conference together. It's not like we need to avoid each other. And although we have different schedules while we're there and all that, we're like, we want to be around each other, which is awesome. I think I've had to learn in this context that while we're wired so much the same in vision and direction, the way we lead and the things we choose to empower and hold tight are different.
Yeah.
And so recognizing that for the team, it's probably more different than I first perceived because we click so well and practically read each other's mind so often. I thought that would transfer. And so realizing that the team may have had more change than you and I have had, even though what I didn't do is come change the color of the logo or change the name or the mission statement and all the superficial stuff that oftentimes doesn't really mean a lot. Sometimes it does, but oftentimes that's the superficial stuff. But I think it's been interesting for me to learn how to lead the team and help them translate the differences between us. And so it's been good. It's just been different. And so that's gone well. My big question that I keep receiving for you, it's what are you doing next? And for me, it's like, how's it going really? And specifically
how's it going
really?
Which is is related to the lack of success of other ones out there. And so when they see a good one, they're like, wait, I bet there's another narrative back there somewhere.
Right.
You know, and more importantly, what they're really saying is, what's it like working with Jim?
Yeah.
I mean, you succeeded him and he's still there.
Yeah.
I mean,
he has his thoughts. And so,
because nobody thinks that can work.
It's right. To the point where I've had people that are beyond acquaintances, but not my closest friends, but they're beyond acquaintances, that have like double clicked multiple times. So they'll be like, how's it going? And I'll say something. I was like, well, I know that. But I mean, like, how's it going really? And they're not looking for dirt. They're wanting to be helpful. Yeah. They're wanting to be able to speak in and encourage and help me. And I'm like, no, I don't. I mean, I've got all kinds of business ideas and thoughts and ways I want to serve churches and schools. And I got all these ideas. I'd love to brainstorm that with you. But like in the transition, I don't have any other words because there's not anything else to explain that it's going really, really well. And so that I genuinely believe that it is that me doubling down on that statement has actually moved backwards a few relationships, because I think there are some leaders that are like, okay, well, let me know when you're ready to open up. Like they're not in a mean way, just like, oh, our relationship must have changed because you used to tell me. Yeah. And you're not, once again, they're not looking for dirt. They're not trying to put something on the internet. They're just like looking for something that's not there. And I've had to navigate that with a couple of people and really double down and even get a little forceful and say, no, you don't understand. Like, if anything, you can help me because I feel guilty because it's going so well. Like that's if you want to help me, help me navigate that. Yeah. And so that's been interesting, because it's like I can't receive it at face value. Then when I double down, there's a skepticism to some of that. And so, but that comes not because of us, not because of Generis, but once again, their experience and what they've seen.
Everything out there.
And so now, if I hear anybody that's navigating transition or talks to me about transition in their job, whether it be senior leadership or in their job or whatever, I think I feel a bigger weight for it now for them in my prayer, because I've seen it go so well for us, but I've also seen such a skepticism. It's reminded me how hard transition really is. And so I don't know, if anything, it's caused me to be extra grateful for what God has coordinated between us. I'm really thankful, but also feel the weight of it's not always how it plays out.
Not always how it plays out, And for you, there've been two teams. So you've had to navigate the leadership of the home office team, which you've got great proximity to, pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
But then the consulting team, which is virtual most of the year, but we come together 3 times a year. Yeah. So, I've watched you navigate both of those, and they're at different paces because when you don't see people as often. But what I hear from those guys is like, well, I was just kind of sitting around minding my own business, and the phone was like, "This is Frank. I didn't have anything. I hadn't initiated anything. Frank's just calling, check and see how I'm doing."
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, "Yeah, I know what he's doing. Yeah. Building relationships, building capital, building credibility." It's not inauthentic. It's totally who he is as a leader. He wants to make sure that I got you. Yeah. If there's something that you need right now, I'm here for you. Yeah. Because a lot of times I think the team is like, oh, well, Jim and Frank are busy. Yeah, but part of our job is to serve you.
That's right.
To serve you and help you thrive and flourish. So don't apologize when you need some time from us, right? I told you, I actually told Nancy first, and then I told you, and I haven't had a chance to see the team, so they might be hearing this for the first time. But at our recent February summit, when we were together, we had everybody in the room, and I was sitting there midway through, and I was just watching the team respond to you. And I had this moment where I was like, this is his room now. This is his room now. It must be like a senior pastor when it does go well. Yeah. And he's still there, and he watches his successor, and he sees the people responding to his successor. Not that they don't care about you, because I have a role in the room.
Sure.
But it's not that role anymore. You have that role. And watching the team just lean in and respond to you, and I said to Nancy that night, she said, when I went home that Thursday, she said, how were the meetings this week? And I said, well, sweetheart, I think we had another history moment. The last time we had a history moment was in 2024 when you led that session when I said, hey, they're ready for Frank. Yeah. Now, I knew that they were ready for you to lead them. And this was when I was like, she said, well, wait a second, another history moment? I said, yeah. I said, I watched the room. It's his room now. It's his room. I've got a place in that room. And they've actually got the best of both worlds, because they've got their leader for the future and they've got me. Yeah. But it's his room, and they're ready to respond to his leadership. Yeah, it's a big moment, man. That's a big moment.
I felt it. I
know you did.
The shift in the room.
You had to feel the shift.
It was undeniable.
Yeah. It was plausible shift.
So I'm thankful for that. One of the things, Jim, that you have been so helpful with, that I don't know where this fits in the succession plan or how Dave Travis coaches this, I know it has to come up at some point, is there are times I've got to come to you. I may think I know the decision. I may think I have line of sight to all the information, but I don't know the history.
Yeah.
I don't know the context. I don't know whether something's been tried before or why somebody's asking me this particular question or why they phrase something a certain way. So there are times where you and I connect where I'm just like, just give me a little context. Just give me a little, hey, is there more to this story or more to this concept or more to what they're asking about here or there? And it's rarely problematic, but I would tell you, whether it be with a client or with one of our consultants or home office team, those moments, those nuggets of wisdom are gold and invaluable because I don't need to stumble through that because you're right there, very open-ended. And you've said to me, yeah, that's coming from, a few years back. We could have handled that better. We could have done this different. Or, no, yeah, we've always held a line on this, but it's a new day. Or, whatever it is, just like very practical, very clear, very direct guidance in that. And then oftentimes you'll say, and if you want me to share my thought, like I can ask you history and that doesn't assume that you're now going to just tell me what to do. You will give me the history and then stop talking, which is fascinating. And they'll be like, well, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? And then you'll respond, but you're gracious enough not to go straight into, let me tell you what you should do.
Yeah. I mean, because here's what I want. Here's what I want you to have freedom. It's fine if you know how I've handled it historically, and then you have the option of either doing that or doing it some other way.
Yeah.
And this would be the point of inflection for you to stop doing it that way and start doing it another way if you want to. Or if you just want to like, gosh, I don't have a better idea than that. Let's just keep doing it that way for a while.
Yeah.
But you've always got that option. I want you to always to have that option. So when I give context, it's just so that you don't go blind.
Right.
And maybe go 180 degrees over here. And they're like, whoa, you would have run right into a truck.
Right.
If you'd known what I knew historically. And that's all I'm trying to do is give you the context
really
to make a better decision, not so much to do it the way I did it, because you know me, I'm not a big, we've always done it that kind of, done it that way kind of guy. That's not my thing. I want to do it the best way.
What, as we wrap up, you're talking to leaders that are navigating transition or about to navigate some kind of transition. What are those nuggets? What would you say to them to kind of summarize what we've experienced, what might be transferable and helpful to them if you're just kind of like wrap it up?
Yeah, I think for me, it would just be for the leader who's doing the handoff, just make sure you're ready for it. And, not just you, talk to your wife, assuming you're married, your spouse. You've probably got 2 or 3 trusted friends that you could ask about. And if you've got a counselor or a regular therapist that you're working with, let them help you with that as well.
Yeah, that's good.
Because if you can't let go of the baton, then there's no reason for you even try to give it away. Yeah. It's not going to go well. It's going to be worse. And but being ready to fully release the baton so that it can be embraced by your successor is probably the greatest gift you can give. And I think it is the key to a healthy succession.
That is so good, Jim. Thank you. Thank you for being transparent.
It's fun thinking about this a year later, right?
Yeah, it is.
Let's keep doing it.
I'm glad to say that we're still on the same path. Things are going really well.
Still having a good time.
Yeah, it's great. Hey, guys, this has been...
Romans 12:10. Remember Romans 12:10.
That's right.
Romans 12:10.
I'll do one another.
We did never put it on a wall anywhere. But Romans 12:10, when he said, outdo one another in showing honor.
Yeah.
You and I have done that exceptionally well, because I know when I'm not around, you're bragging like crazy on me, and when you're not around, I'm bragging like crazy on you.
Absolutely.
And so remember Romans 12:10. If you can both do Romans 12:10 as you pursue the succession season, I think you've got a much better chance of making it work.
There you go. Guys, thanks for listening to another episode of the Next Sunday Podcast.